Hey Sam, so good to talk to you from your neck of the woods here up in Chestnut Hill. Fran Brown has talked so much this year about how he wants his team to be Northeast tough, and there's no better way to prove that against a real regional rival in Boston College. They kind of struggled again against a more experienced Boston College offensive line, allowing 313 rushing yards, the most all season, to, of course, Kai Robichaux, but also a guy in Jordan McDonald who wasn't even one of the 4 running backs listed on the depth chart. He was wearing a different jersey number than what was listed in the program. This is a guy who truly came out of nowhere in this game and lit Syracuse up. Something he talked about before the season at Media Day. He said he didn't expect to be a guy who was going to have to average 17 points a game like he did back at Delaware. Well, he finished with 22 tonight, and he proved his point. This SU team is going to need to rely on its depth throughout this season. Guys like Jair Davis are going to need to step up. I think SU just has to make its free throws. It's as simple as that, but that's been a struggle for the Orange. They've been anything but free so far this year. They are the second worst team at the charity stripe in the conference. Stanford, on the other hand, is the best team in the conference. Those are free points. You've got to get those, especially in a tough matchup on the road. Stanford has lost just 1 game this season here in Palo Alto. And just his comfortability. He looked so calm out there. It was a really even-handed 15-12 for Eddie Lampkin. He brings so much to this team. Like you mentioned, Luke, the tournament experience, that's something these guys have talked about after the game. They've mentioned that Eddie Lampkin's played with the Buffaloes in the NCAA tournament. That's obviously a place where Syracuse desperately wants to get back to. Haven't been dancing since 2021. He's the guy who can take them there with his comfortability, his poise, and especially his play tonight. A double-double for Eddie Lampkin. Finished the game with 0 personal fouls. That's pretty remarkable for a guy of his size, of unicorn stature, to not be baited into making silly fouls, especially against a much smaller Lemoyne team. That's something that's really encouraging going forward. Fran Brown says it's kind of an NFL-style defense, modeled based on Bill O'Brien's time with the Houston Texans and New England Patriots. You saw it in the trench play. BC was able to explode off the line, and also I think you especially saw it in the tackling. This was a worry for Syracuse going into this game. Syracuse in the bottom third among FBS teams in stop rate. Fran Brown talked about that in his press conference heading into this game. He knew tackling would be an issue. They didn't do enough of it early enough. What a way to start the season for Syracuse men's basketball. Crosstown foe Lemoyne nearly playing spoiler in what was supposed to be a simple tune-up game to start this campaign. In the end, though, the Orange prevailed, winning 86-82. But the other one isn't on here. Jordan McDonald had 137 yards and a score. He wasn't on the program, but he was in the box score. All part of a tough day for this Syracuse defense. If you're a Syracuse men's basketball fan, you might want to get your blood pressure checked. It is stressful watching this team. Cardiac Cuse brushed past Colgate 74-72 on Tuesday night, following that nail-biting season opener against Lemoyne. It was, however, due to the post play, especially that of Delaware transfer Jair Davis, who led the team with 22 points and 12 rebounds. His physicality was crucial, and the rest of the team knows it will be moving forward. Prior to Wednesday night, Syracuse men's basketball hadn't played a game in the state of California in more than 25 years. So, to honor that time away, Stanford got out to a 25-2 lead and never looked back. In a season full of dreadful starts, this one was the worst for SU. The Orange clawed back in the second half, but never got close enough in a 70-61 loss. After the game, Jair Davis said he knows that opening start doomed his team, but he's encouraged by the fight SU showed in the second half.
Scratch the first whatever minutes we scored 25-2, I'm sure we would have won this game. So it's just little things like that where we had to put 40 minutes together.
I feel like we had a good fight in the second half. Just, you got to be able just to handle runs. I feel like we didn't do a good job of that in the first half, not containing the pressure well. But we'll get back to the gym and we'll work on that.
With Donnie Freeman out for his 7th consecutive game, it was up to Eddie Lampkin to match up against Maxime Renaud, the ACC's leading scorer and rebounder. He put up 21 points and 15 rebounds in this contest, his 17th double-double of the season. After the game, Adrian Autry said he was proud of the defensive effort. There's just only so much you can do against a guy like Renaud.
You don't see guys his size in college. You see those guys at the next level. He averages 21 and 12, so I think everyone has a game plan for him, and I think the biggest thing is you just try to make him work. He's that good.
So Syracuse drops its 3rd consecutive game to fall to 9-12 on the season. But the Orange aren't going back to Central New York. They're going to spend the rest of the week out west as it prepares to play Cal on Saturday. That'll be another late tip out on the East Coast, 10 p.m. start time for the folks back in Syracuse. Reporting from Maples Pavilion in Palo Alto, I'm Peter Elliott, Citrus TV.